All right, ladies and gentlemen, without much further ado, we present to you Mr. Anuj Pruthi. Let's have a big, big round of applause. Everyone, come on.
Very good afternoon. I know it's towards the second half of the day, and we'll try to keep our discussions lighter, and a little bit engaging. Yeah. So, my name is Anuj Pruthi. I lead the digital transformation at Target in India. A minor update: as the world is changing fast, I just changed my company 2 days back. So. So I'm working with, as of today and this moment, I'm working as a senior director with Lowe's. And some of my learnings are going to come from my experience with Target's transformation. The blue color on the screen is for a very particular reason. And this is to remind me that I have moved to Lowe's. Target is pretty much red. So this is consciously put there so that I don't, I stay conscious of the fact that I've switched, right? So it will take some time for me to sink in. So if I say, we have done this, so take it with a pinch of salt that it's coming from Target's experience, yeah. I know we have been talking about DevOps, right? We have been talking about building culture is important. And the first thing we heard in the morning from the topo was like, large enterprises are not startups, right? And so what does work in large enterprises then, right? So I'm just going to share one of the things that we tried and worked at Target, and I'm happy to share that a lot of organizations are kind of approaching Target to understand their immersive learning journey and try to replicate in US, and I do see that trickling in India as well. So let's just get started with So it's Lowe's, yeah. Let's just talk about 3 factors here, right? The first one is pretty much DevOps culture. So I've broken this whole topic into 3 parts, and then we will come together. The first part is DevOps culture. What does it mean, right? We have heard about build your own DevOps, right? We have heard about that. Here is my definition of DevOps. What's yours, right? There is no standard definition. So the idea is that every organization has to understand and define the DevOps for themselves, right? So we at Target, what did we do in my previous organization is to take a look at the DevOps from 2 perspectives. The first one was pretty much on the technology side, right? So let's take a view from the engineering and technology, right? So the moment that DevOps comes as a topic, the first thing that comes to your mind is the tools, right? And there is even a periodic table by one of the organization on the tools. There are thousands and thousands of tools that comes up, right? Everybody jumps into, let's talk about the CI/CD pipeline, let's build infra as a code, let's do Puppet, let's do Chef, let's do Jenkins, and all of that is great. Of course, we need tools to execute at the end of the day. But is it where we should be starting our conversation? The answer is probably no, right? The conversation should start at values, right? What is that you want to deliver from IT? And one of the complaints that I always hear from IT is like, business does this, business does that. But the matter of fact, we are here for business. IT not for IT. Yeah? IT for business is the key mantra here. So we need to understand that what is the values that we want to deliver through our solution, and then move towards the next step, which is pretty much around practices. In order to deliver that, what is the practices that we need to follow? And then comes your tooling, right? So let's give you an example. For example, we say that whatever solution we are delivering, it has to be of high quality, right? So for me, the quality is the value, right? Now we can discuss about it. What does it mean? One of the practices for ensuring quality is testing, right? Now let's go deeper into testing, right? So as and when you want to bake in the testing in your pipeline, you want to do it unit testing more focused. In the morning, we were hearing about Microsoft Journey, right? By Gopi, that how they really changed the whole combination of the way they were doing testing and doing a lot of left shift, right? These all are the practices, right? But the value is the high quality, right? As long as your engineers and technology is focused on the quality, then we do practices, and then comes the part for the tools, right? And then there's a whole lot of tools. Every organization has got different ways of choosing. Some organizations give the portfolios or the BUs to pick their own tools. Some have centralized approvals for the tools or their defined technology stack that they can use. So I guess it goes there, but But the kind of conversation that you want to have in your large enterprises is, before starting this DevOps transformation, is not at the tools. That's where we all get very much attracted. That's what we keep on hearing. But the real thing that you have to start is at the values, right? But then, whatever we have been talking about, values to be delivered, practice to be followed, tools to be executed, has to be done by people side of it, right? So there's another view that is the human side. Let's look at the culture. We have been talking about culture and mindset, right? Just now Niladri was talking about building collaboration, and one of the gentlemen has the question, how do we build that relationship, right? It's easy to say collaborate. Collaborate on what? For what? What is in it for me? I have so much of work to do, right? The moment you have different goals for each team, you will never have a good collaboration coming up. We can talk whatever we can talk, but as a matter of fact, you will, unless you are together in it, you're never going to work together as a unit, right? So to build collaboration, it's very important for us to have empathy. And this is a word that we are picking up from product taxonomy, right? From product culture, that empathy. And what does empathy really mean? Yes, it's easier said than done. Well, it's a Friday evening. I know Saturday, Sunday is a holiday. I know Monday is Ganesha, and I don't celebrate Ganesha at my home. So what? I'm checking in the code on a Friday afternoon and taking a flight, and I'm going to Goa. I'm going to have fun in Goa with my friends. My friends are coming from US. We're going to have a great time. But here is the other part of the organization, right? Whatever you have sent to production is breaking. The guy has a Ganesha celebration happening at home. He's trying to manage that family, manage that celebration, and then manage a laptop here trying to fix that ticket. Do you get it? And now we are saying that, hey, developers and operations, have collaboration, have empathy. How the hell this guy who's drunk or having fun on the beach is able to think about what this guy is going through in his home? You can't just build empathy by saying it, right? You can say whatever number of times things, but then it's not going to happen. It can happen only when you experience that. What if I cancel your leave or won't allow you to go unless your production deployment sits and becomes stable? So you hang on with me, buddy. Come to Ganesha at my home and let's celebrate together. Goa some other time, and when it happens, let's do it together. How does it sound? Yeah? So there's a human side. There's a way to do things, right? And if you look at the technology side, you look at human side, that's where I move to the next part of my discussion, is like the immersive learning space, right? Now what is happening here is that we are talking about our engineers, our operations, and a lot of everybody to think differently. We are asking them to behave differently. We are asking them to act differently. Is it just going to happen just like that? No. We need to provide them support. We need to help them. We need to hold their hands and say, okay, let's walk together till you become expert, right? So that's where the whole concept of immersive learning comes into picture. And red color is still sticking, yeah? Let's turn it blue, yeah? So I have to keep reminding myself, yeah? So dojo is a concept that comes from Japanese culture, right? It's a way of working, right? Whenever you have to learn a specific martial art, you go to dojo. That place is called dojo. You learn some arts, some moves, slowly. There is a master, we call sensei. And over a period of time, you become expert in that and you start doing your martial arts, right? So we have brought that concept. And okay, anybody can give me that was a question for the quiz, but I guess we have to find something else if we are doing that quiz. But is there a parallel thing that happens in Indian culture? Something similar to dojo? Gurukul, awesome. It's exactly the same, right? You go there. You live there together, right? Now you're no more a prince or somebody or a rich person's son or whatever, right? But you're going to Gurukul. There is going to be a guru. You're going to learn the way of life, right? And that means weaponry, that means your education, that means whole different aspects of life, right? And then you come out as a all-rounded individual coming from that, right? So in dojo, we will bring who all we are bringing? We are bringing the coaches, right? There are coaches available. They are agile coaches, they are product coaches, they are technology coaches. Then we are bringing our engineers. And I'll repeat it 3 times. We are bringing engineers, we are bringing engineers, and we are bringing engineers. We are not calling them developer anymore. We are not calling them operations anymore. We are not calling them testers anymore. We are making sure that everybody is calling them, and we call them as product engineers. So they are engineers. Whatever it takes to deliver that engineering product, we will do that, whether it's testing, configuration, operations, another part of it. But the whole idea is that you are an engineer. And the kind of words that the vocab that organizations use really have a huge impact on everybody, right? Now suddenly you say, oh, you are a testing team. Oh, yeah, I know. For whatever reason, in IT, we have created a class system, developer and architecture, and then tester, and whatever it is, right? So let's get rid of that. It's a product culture. Everybody is supposed to contribute to the success of that product and whatever it takes. So we have engineers, we have coaches. Who all we are bringing? Product owners. So they come in and they talk about, and then we have business owners. They're going to talk about as a team, and day one, we spend 4 to 5 hours understanding what is that you want to build, right? What is the value that we are going to deliver back to business if we build this, right? So the question, one of the things that Niladji was talking about, organizations have moved into funding differently, and some of the things that we have implemented in my previous organization. So you have to justify the value. Then we look at what are the skills that are needed to deliver that, and then we coach you through and take you through this whole operations of Dojo, right? So that's where we have got a lot of huge success on this whole immersive learning experience where teams have gone through. The third part is, of course, large enterprise. And I can go and talk about Dojo full day. It's my baby. I created it from scratch in India. So feel free if you want to know a little bit more about Dojo. But in the interest of time, we'll keep moving. Why we have been so typical about large enterprises, right? We've been talking about, hey, startups are not large enterprise and things like that. Large enterprises, there are a lot of things that comes into play. The first and the foremost part is executive sponsorship, right? Now, most of the top leaders understand this is the journey they have to take. It's very important that they announce it in the organization. It's very important that the intent is clear. The outcomes that organization leadership is looking forward as clear and communicated. It's very important that the organizations get a feeling that, yes, this is what my senior leadership wants, and they are committed to it. It's not one of those different initiatives that will take off and will not, after some time it just fades away. We are not going back on this. This is the way we will be in future, right? So that's huge commitment you need from the executive sponsorship. And what really consolidates that is your leadership behavior, right? Now, it's great to say, hey, fail fast. Have you heard that phrase, fail fast? I'm personally not a big fan of that word. I would love to say pivot fast. Nobody has made money by just failing and failing and failing. So yeah, everybody says, great, fail fast. I want a culture of trust. I want a culture of psychological safety. And yeah, come Friday evening and the server crashes. How does the leadership react? How are you responding to that? I'm sure we'll do the fix, we will do root cause analysis, we'll do all the good stuff, but will some head rolls? Are you going to see that what is the tone that leadership is using? What is the communication that leadership team is doing? Are we going to take that as a learning opportunity and making sure that we just run across all the other products and share this learning, making sure that not this mistake is repeated anywhere else in the whole organization? Or are we going to say that, no, how can it happen? We have lost this much of business. And so the leadership behavior has to be in alignment with the culture that you have been asking to build at the organization, right? It cannot be different. It cannot be a talk like this and saying something, and then when things really happen on the floor, we are really talking something else, right? Or the behavior changes. So here's a funny thing. I can share a personal experience. So I had a 5-year-old son, and the rule is that after 11 o'clock, no screen time. Mobile, tabs, TV goes off. So one fine day, I reached home, 10:30. very tired, just sat on the sofa, put on the TV. After some time, there was a signal from her mom in the kitchen. Vian, screen time over. He shuts off his tab, sweetly comes and switches off my TV. And I'm so unhappy about that. I need I need to unwind. And what do? And my wife is like a great spectator, comes out of kitchen, looks at me, what are you going to do now? Yeah, but then I have to let the TV off because the day I breach that rule is not going to be there anymore in my house. I cannot have say something and do something with my. So the way kids look at you, the way observe you, it's not they're not listening to you. They're equally listening, but then what matters more, what they're grasping more is how you do what you do in your home, how you talk to your spouse, how you treat with them, how do you treat with the neighbors, how you take the phone calls. They're observing you all the time. So are engineers. They're observing the leadership all the time. You say something, and then in the boardroom there's something else, and in a different review meeting there's something else. No, that doesn't work that way. Right? So everybody is observing. So it's very important that your leadership behavior is in alignment with what you want the organization to look like. Third piece is, of course, on the different view on IT. As Niladri was saying, that IT is no more a cost center. Right? It has to be seen as a big competitive advantage for you. A lot of large enterprises are now bringing the IT back in-house. They're building the technology muscle back. Something which was outsourced some time back was seen as a commodity, right? Somebody else can run. It's not my priority. I'll focus on my business. Today, technology has become their business. Technology is enabling them so many different opportunities, options to add more revenue to their business, reduce the reduce the cost, increase the productivity. But more so, they are giving them more and more revenues, right? To generate, they're generating more channels for them to generate revenues, right? So a lot of organizations have started looking at IT very differently. And it's not seen as just a back office thing, but it's more of a critical to their enterprise strategy. The middle layer, it's the loving layer, managers. Everybody loves it. Most of the transformation has a lot of good things to say about them. Coaches are there working with the engineers. Engineers are ready. They are agile. They are product. They are DevOps. The top leadership is ready. But then why things are not moving? Why we are really not making that the technology company? Why we are not moving with that space? The pace with which we want to move is because of there is a very existing layer which we call middle management, right? We need to support them. We need to help them to upskill. We need to help them to understand and adopt new ways of leadership. We have to let them feel comfortable by letting them of the empowerment to the teams. And when we were doing in my previous organization, most of the engineering managers came to me, so what's my job now? Right? I was the point of contact talking to customers. I was taking the status. I was showcasing all the status, updates, reports. Now what do I do? When you're saying the team becomes self-reliant, they pull out the backlog stuff, they do it themselves, deploy it themselves, so where I am, right? So we need to define that role for them. We need to help them to upskill. We need to help them to find where we can leverage their skills. And they're not dispensable. Let me be very clear to you. They're not dispensable. They are extremely valuable resources. We just need to find them to make sure that they are aligned in a different way in the business strategy. The last, internal change agents. How many of you are leading this transformation role in your respective organization? I feel for you. I am one of you. So it's very important, right? Now here's the challenge with this person. This person comes to DOIS 19, learns a whole lot of good stuff, goes back to the organization on Tuesday, and then can't move a needle. Yeah. There's a different battle, right? There's a different thing happening in the organization. There are dynamics. There are politics. There are equations. There are old systems. There is a resistance. Whole lot of things. So this person has to really navigate through, and that's a very difficult job because on one hand you have coaches, whether internal or external, and expertise and consultants who are telling you this is how it has to be done. But then moving the mountain is an entirely different thing, right? Then saying, hey, go, we are with you. That's the right thing to do. But that's not easy, right? So So it's very important to have somebody as an internal change agent who believes in it, is ready to take it. It's like taking one for the team. It's a tough job. It's sometimes, but it's a very challenging and interesting job, right? If you love this space, then no other job like this, right? So that's what some of the things that bring in when we talk about large enterprise. They all factors come into play, right? Challenges, of course, transformation not easy. But then we have to start somewhere. We have to start those conversations. We have to getting the language right of the organization first. Get rid of developers versus testers versus operation. I would strongly recommend start calling them engineers, right? And the moment you start, you're bringing some sense of equality across the engineering community. Coachability, in Indian context, more so. The moment I say, I'll have you a coach for you, like, no, I'm not that bad. I don't need a coach. Yeah, some of the best football teams in Europe and US are known by their coaches, not by their captains. Right? In India, we know them by their captains, and there are father figures in all the sports here. But the fact is that coach plays such an important role. And coaching is an important aspect. It's just taking you from one orbit to another one. It's not that you're bad in this orbit, but it's about like making progress, right? So coachability is another challenge that you will find all the time. And of course, purpose. Everybody needs to have that purpose. And that's where it connects back with your senior leadership, right? Executive sponsorship. That messaging has to be continuously happen. The support has to continuously happen. Their behavior has to strictly align pretty much with what they want to be, right? I can say go left, but I still show right side, so that confuses the whole organization, and people won't be believing you as much as what you say, what you would like them to do, right? So these are some of the large challenges. So with that, what we have seen in my previous organization, that Dojo has really played a great role, because we are having the product owner, values getting defined. We are having engineers who are working together. So they stay here for 6 to 8 weeks, building the product together. Now, if there's a bug happen, if there is L1, L2, L3 comes, that team fixes. There is no third operations team to take care of it. We do have L1 and L2 support, but anything that breaks, the team comes together. It's not one guy who has to leave his Ganesha and come and support that ticket. It's this product team. So it's like you build it, you own it. So if it breaks, it breaks. If you don't want to release it on Friday, it's totally fine. Come back, release it on Tuesday. It's totally fine unless it's so critical, right? But team stays together, right? So that's where Dojo has, as an immersive learning experience, has helped us to build this culture and mindset, which is one of the big challenge and the necessity to really do any large scale transformation, right? So with that, I close my presentation, and thanks a lot for being a great audience, and it's great talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Anuj, for that wonderful session. Let's have a big round of applause for Anuj once again, everybody. Can I request Mahesh Rao to please join us on stage and felicitate Anuj?